Welcome to Idle Talk. Today, I'm going to talk to you about my paranormal experiences. Yes, it is true. Sometimes spooky shit happens. And what do we do about it? What are we supposed to do about that, right? My freshman year of college, I had a roommate named Connor. And, he would watch like Breaking Bad and stuff. Like we would play Madden, like together but not with each other. Like he'll be on his TV and I'll be on mine. And it was what it was. You feel me? Like we was chilling, we was vibing, but one day I don't know how the topic of like spooky shit, paranormal shit came about. I remember telling him my two experiences with Mexican folklore legend La Llorona. I told him I told him each story, and he was just like he couldn't believe it. Like he couldn't like just fathom that shit like that happens, right? And so I'm gonna tell you those two stories. But first, I forgot to do this. I forgot to look up the actual lore to it. So I'm gonna look it up real quick, just so I could give you, the canon explanation of this, right? So I'm gonna go on Wikipedia because I'm just gonna just read it to you guys. Okay, Wikipedia states, in Mexican folklore, La Llorona, aka the Weeping Woman or the Wailer, is a vengeful ghost who roams waterfront areas mourning her children whom she drowned. They continue on to say, the legend has a wide variety of details and versions. In a typical version of the legend, a beautiful woman named Maria marries a rich ranchero to whom she bears two children. One day, Maria sees her husband with another woman, and in a fit of blind rage, she drowns her children in a river, which she immediately regrets. Unable to save them and consumed by guilt, she drowns herself as well, but is unable to enter the afterlife, forced to be in a purgatory and roam this earth until she finds her children. In another version of the story, her children are illegitimate and she drowns them, so their father cannot take them away to be raised by his new wife. Recurring themes in the variations of La Llorona myth include a white, wet dress, nocturnal wailing, and an association with water. The mother archetype of La Llorona has been tied to patriarchal expectations of women in Mexican and Mexican-American culture by several authors, historians, and social critics. Social critics often consider Mexican and Mexican-American culture to force patriarchal, I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm so sorry, standards onto women, which is true, such as being defined by their roles as mothers. La Llorona falling into the trope of being an evil or failed mother, having either committed infanticide or having failed to save them from drowning, can be considered a reflection of this. So, the story that I know of La Llorona is very similar to what we just went over, but I remember hearing about her first through my grandmother on my father's side. So I don't know how the story came about. I don't remember why they were telling me this, but this gave me flashbacks to when I was just there, and we would just randomly try to scare the children, like my little cousins, because they were super like way younger than me. Like the oldest one is like 11. So we would try to scare them, and then they were outside. We were like in this like huge like house embedded into like a mountain, and we were just spending the weekend there. It was a family friend's house, and the kids were outside, and me and my aunt were upstairs, like on the outside as well. And I was like, oh, we should scare them. And then she started howling and crying like she was La Llorona, and then the kids ran inside. It was so funny and so traumatizing for them, I'm pretty sure. But I can see now, I guess that's how the story came upon me when I was younger, around that age. But I was like 8 years old, 9 years old. I heard the story, and she was telling me how it was no, I'll tell you about when I really first heard the story. It was from my mom, right? And I guess this is the story of her like telling me this, but I think it was because, honestly, I might have had, like, a peeing in the bed problem when I was little. Like, I looked away in shame. But, like, I was, like, small. I could not control myself. But I think I think she told me this version of the story was, just to try to, like, scare me out of peeing the bed, I guess. But the story goes that, similar to what we, like, just went over, that the mom who tells her children that it's a boy and a girl. She tells her kid who's having problems wetting the bed, and she tells him, next time you pee the bed, I'm gonna cut your penis off, just like verbatim. And the kid's scared, and then he pees the bed at night. He wakes up, and his sister, being the little cunt she is, She goes and snitches on him, and then my man's books it. He gets out of the house. He hides under the car. So he's under the car. The mom like is looking for him. She like his sister's like, oh, I don't know where he is. I can't find him. And so the mom runs out to the car, starts the car, and runs over him. Right? She realizes she's like run over something, and she starts to back the car away, like back for some whatever reason. I just feel like just leave it there, just get out. But she backs the car up and bang, smacks her daughter, neck flailing, head snapped back, breaks her head on a pebble or some shit like that, and then boom, both kids dead. Husband comes home, and then he leaves her for like a younger woman, which I don't think that like that detail actually happened. It might have actually just. I think that's part of the original lore, how we just went over. But so he leaves her for a younger woman, but I would just leave her for just killing the kids, if I'm being real. But yeah, and then she is just left alone, and she eventually dies, and eventually again enters purgatory. So the reason why I was sent to Mexico for the first time, I was 8 years old, was because I was a shitty kid. And I think my mom wanted me to kind of witness what life was like, how she grew up, and you know, kind of like showcase the struggles of what she had to go through as a young child, at that young of an age. So she sent me to Mexico. She thought I was gonna pussy out and like not get on the plane, and then as soon as I'm on the plane I want to get off. But I just went with it. I was like, let's go. I didn't know nothing about Mexico. I only knew that my grandpa was there from my dad's side, and I was like, you know what, friendly face, let's go, let's get out of here. So I went to Mexico. And so knowing that little detail about the backstory for me is, I think my grandma told me this in order to kind of correct my behavior, right? Just to kind of have like a little, you know, set the little foundations of correcting my behavior as a young child. She told me the same exact story, the same backstory, you know, the mother, 2 kids, drowned, sad, purgatory. But the end goal of La Llorona was to, now that she is able to roam the earth, like without any kind of like release to the afterlife, that it's her sole mission to grab bad kids and take them with her. And it's explained that way, as in take them with her. Like it's not, she didn't necessarily say to kill you or to drown you, but you know, it gets just the point to kind of scare kids into acting correct and, you know, behaving. My grandma told me the story. I was like, bitch, I wish you would try. I would not let her touch me, my guy. You know, I was that confident. I was like, she's not touching me at all. I'm bobbing and weaving in this bitch, right? Folklore out of the way. Now let's continue on to my experiences with La Llorona. I was around 10 years old. I want to say the first time I met her. I've met her twice. The first time I met her, it was at my grandma's house, who told me the story, on my dad's side. So we live in Mexico City, kind of like on a highway, kind of. So like it's easy to get to and from places. We lived right across the street from like a park. And at this point, there was only a basketball court there. There was like a soccer field. And then you could see past that. You could see way past the soccer field. It's just nothing, empty. As of like 2020, when I went there, it's now like a landfill kind of area, but they are constructing on it. But since construction halted to COVID, you know, it kind of like looks like a landfill now. Like you could see it, and they put lights in that field for nothing. It's just for safety, I guess. It's just like, it's people can feel safe while walking through, if they have to walk through the field and get to the other side, which is a shortcut, let's say, because you could just walk the lighted way and go around. But then they added the lights in the middle just to come, like, like whatever. Like if you want to take the shortcut, feel safe. It's okay. Whatever. And it's not against the law or anything. It's just like, okay, here, let's just make it more accessible for people. So one day I wake up in the middle of the night. I'm crashing in my aunt's room at the time because she would just sleep somewhere else and I would just have the room to myself. But my aunt, I think, is one of the key reasons why I'm a horror fan too, because she likes horror movies, and her room, and I shit you not, was just filled with Chucky dolls, like all over, like decorations, like an actual like replicas of the doll. Like, made by different materials every time, because obviously, like, why have the same doll? Like, but she had a lot of Chucky dolls, and I woke up one day, saw them, shit myself, got scared, got out the room, went looking for my grandma, and then what do I see? What do I see, right? I see the window where that very field that I was talking about with the lights, right? I'm looking at it. I'm like, is that a person? I look at it. I'm like, intrigued, right? And then all of a sudden, I start paying attention to what's actually happening. So I'm now aware that a noise is coming from the field, and I could hear it, right? And they say that if you hear La Llorona close, right, if you hear it really loud, powerful, right, that means she's like pretty far, right? I don't know why that's part of it, that when I talk to Mexicans, it's that, right? I wake up and I'm at the window. I'm like, pussy. I'm like, do I crack this window a little bit, right? And so I do what normal kids do. I fucking open the window. There's a hook, like, you know how you have that latch at the top, but they have it on the side. And so I unhook it, and then I unhooked it, and it made a noise. It made a very audible noise. I could hear it in my house, right? It's not that much louder than anybody else can hear it. But this lady in the field, I'm looking at this lady, like, white dress. I'm not thinking too much of it. Well, I can't tell if it's a dress. At that point, just somebody wearing all white. I crack the window, like I unlock it, turns around, in the middle of the field, just turns around, and I'm like, just like this, just like dying inside. I'm like, my little heart's racing at the time. I'm just like, I'm like paralyzed, right? And then I do the smart thing. I lock that bitch back up, and I go back into my room. I just walk back into my room. Like, at that point, it wasn't, the screams weren't, not the screams, the cry wasn't that audible to me, but I could definitely, at that moment, like, my brain probably thought it was crying. But she was pretty far. She was in the field. It would have taken me a bit. It would take me like maybe like 15 minutes to walk from one side of that field all the way to the house, because it is a big field. But I saw it right in the middle of it. So that happens, and I go to sleep. I do what every brave kid does, and I cover myself entirely in my bed sheets, and I go to sleep, right? Go to sleep, don't think too much of it, and I'm perfect and fine. And I just fell asleep eventually, and then I wake up, and then nothing happened, right? I'm not dead. You know, I'm happy, I'm living, I'm thriving. So now we fast forward like 2 more years. I'm now 12 years old. This time I'm in the pueblo, and if you don't know what that is, it means like town, like small city, you know, like not even a city, just like a village or a town. And I'm with my other grandma. This is my mom's mom. So I'm there chilling, vibing. I'm in my apartment. I'm upstairs. I'm sleeping in my room. Like, I would travel to Mexico by myself, so I would just have my own room at the time. Like, basically the whole floor of the house is just mine, because that's just what my mom built at the time. So I'm sitting there, I'm sleeping. It's pretty windy, and I'm just like, I'm drifting away to sleep. I don't know why my eyes are closed. I'm like actually pretending I'm going to sleep, but I'm drifting away to go to sleep. It's windy. It's like, and I could hear some shit in the wind, right? Like, I could hear, it's like, it sounds like it's like muffled, and it's like soft crying, and I'm just like, I'm trying to go to sleep. I'm closing my eyes, like I'm reliving the moment. I'm traumatized, but I'm trying to go to sleep, and I can't, because I hear something in the distance. And at the time, there was very few streetlights. There still kind of are very few streetlights, but there was one right in the smack in front of my room. And so my curtains weren't good curtains at the time, because that's how they was living at the time. So I could see the light, and then there's a tree branch like smacking my window. My windows are pretty thick. We have, the good part that my mom did was that she got like tinted windows, and so we can see out, but they can't see in. So it's just smacking my window, and I'm just like, oh, fuck. I wanted to get up, open the window, and just yank the tree branch off. Good thing I didn't, because the next morning I wake up and there is no tree outside of my window. No tree. But there was something smacking the window. And like, not hard enough to where it would shatter the window, but hard enough to where I thought it was a tree branch. Interesting, right? No tree branch, no tree near my window. The nearest tree was across the street and then adjacent to the next room. And even then, that was a stretch. So something out there was a small ledge on like the outside of my window. Because, you know, when they build houses, they make ledges like that so people can stand on and build the house. So there was a small ledge on the outside of my window, and I don't know what was out there to this day. Again, at the time I went to sleep scared as fuck, because like I was hearing that noise and it was uncomfortable, and then every so often the tree branch would smack my window, and kind of startle me. I'm like, oh, I'm just trying to go to sleep. Like, leave me alone, tree. But then the next morning we come to see that there was no tree at all. And so those are my two experiences with La Llorona. Because again, we heard it faintly. And then over time, I didn't hear it anymore. But then over time, the smacks on the window got more frequent. And I swear, that if I was to open that window and get rid of that tree branch, I wouldn't have not lived to see 12 more years, honestly, to be quite honest with you guys, because I was so close to opening that window and then breaking the tree branch. But just goes to show you, sometimes don't act out of impulse. Just have some patience. Sit back, look at the situation. Because I did the same shit. I covered myself. I thought I was brave. Eventually fell asleep. But, if I would open that window, that would have been a whole different kind of, like, I don't know what would have happened. And, that doesn't keep me up at night. But, when I tell that particular version of the story, not that version, but, out of the two stories, it always gets those, like, people get uncomfortable afterwards. But now I'm telling you, podcast listeners, those are my only two, like, paranormal experiences. Like, I mentioned in one of the minis that I was trying to get my car out of the snow, and then some guy handed me a shovel. It was a broken shovel at that, and then the guy disappeared. And I yet to this day have figured out if that was a real person or not. But just as you can believe in the good things in life, like miracles and shit like that, you can't just have it without the bad. And there are people who practice the bad stuff out there. Like, I know a lot of places in Mexico that people told me to avoid, especially because I'm a psycho and I like to backpack countries. I was just giving up, like, a heads up from my family, like, hey, try to avoid here, try to avoid there, like, just get to where you gotta go, get to grandma's house, but get there in tip top shape. Like, and I wanted to go from the city to my grandma's house in the middle of nowhere for fun, just see what happens. But I'm looking for a new country to do that. Witchcraft, that shit is real. I guarantee you that shit is real. Like, I know a lot of people are not fans of that fact, and I could agree with you, but also where there's good, there's bad, there's evil, and I know a lot of places that practice that, based off, like, driving by it, or, like, my cousin's telling me a story, or, like they'll tell me a story about some shit, and then we'll go, and he'll be like, yeah, we had to go here to get rid of that bullshit that was affecting somebody. So let me tell you a story real quick. So one of my uncles is kind of like a playboy, right? I feel like all my uncles are playboys, and, represent. Just kidding. But, not really. But, it said that one of his ex-wives did some brujeria on him. Like, she went to a witch, and then she did some shit to him. And so he was driving in, like, standstill traffic one day, and he's driving, and then all of a sudden, like, he has a heart attack. And then luckily he wasn't driving fast. It was standstill traffic. So he opens the car door, falls to the ground, collapses, should be dead. He had a very serious heart attack. And the ambulance comes, they take him to the hospital. The car gets obviously removed somehow. No one told me how. But gets to the hospital. They treat it. He's okay, and then he's just sick, like, for, like, months. And then somebody recommends, they're like, hey, you should, instead of going to the doctor, like, it has been working out for you, go to get cleansed, see what happens, right? And so the guy that's doing the cleansing for him, he tells him, it's important for you to follow these instructions. I want you to bring this, whatever those three things were, right? And he says, bring 2 cartons of eggs. And he said, that's important because I don't want you to think I'm bullshitting you when I do this egg cleanse on you. And he's like, okay, perfect. That's it? 2 cartons of eggs? All right. And then he brings all the stuff that he asked for, and he goes, and the guy that's doing the cleanse, he's, like, grabbing the egg and just rolling it on his body. Just rolling all over his body, all over his head, rolling it. And then he's like, ready for this? He's like, yeah. He's like, just, you remember, you brought these eggs, right? He was like a magician trying to convince him that everything is well. So he's like, yes, I brought those eggs, okay? He cracks the egg, just black, like tar, comes out of the egg. Like, no joke, black tar comes out of the egg. And my uncle's like, what the fuck is that? And then the guy cleansing it pulls out, like, this little, like it looks like a mini fetus. He's like, somebody did some witchcraft on you, and they're trying to kill you. They want you dead. And so And then he's like, just so you know I'm not bullshitting you, grab another egg, do it yourself, right? And he does it again, cracks it again, just black tar comes out of the egg. And another like figurine, whatever it was, like multiple, like I think it was like 3 little like figurines come out of the egg. Like no joke, just like 3 random shits come out of the egg. They keep rubbing the eggs all over him. They're like just praying, I guess, for lack of a better term, because I wasn't there for that progress. I wish I was. That would have been some sick shit, not gonna lie. But so they go through all the eggs and they need more. So my uncle's current wife gets more eggs again, and they do that process until there's no more black shit, no more red shit, just straight egg comes out. And that's how he was cleansed, right? Witchcraft is real, whether you like it or not. That's some real shit. So just be careful, especially because I'm not sure I've had any particular witchcraft experiences, but I'll tell you this one thing. I was in South Carolina and I was driving back from my boo's house at the time. Driving back, clapped the cheeks, came back, driving back, right? And I'm driving, and all of a sudden, like, I'm on the right lane because I'm vibing. I just did the deed. I'm chilling. Like, I have to drive home because I got to shower and I got to go to work at 8 a.m. the next morning. Look, because that was a late day. I usually go in at 6. So I go, I'm driving. I'm on the right lane. I'm just going to speed limit. I'm vibing. I'm knocking to some tunes. And all of a sudden, this guy just drives up to me on the left lane, just is matching my speed. I'm like, why are you in the left lane going 50? What are you doing? And so I'm trying to ignore him. Like, he's keeping speed with me, so I just had to speed up because I'm getting uncomfortable, right? And he lets me speed up, and then I think, all right, cool, whatever. That was fine. 2 minutes go by, he's back, and he's like the "why are you running" meme. You know how that guy looks? Like, I swear to God, that guy looked like that guy. He's like mouthing, yelling some shit at me. He's yelling, and I can hear like because I could hear it through 2 glasses. Like, so what I mean by that is that his glass window was up. My glass window was up. South Carolina, it's the spring, it's hot as shit. And I got my AC on. And I could hear like the kind of like noise muffled through. I can't like understand it. It's inaudible to me. But he's yelling at me full force with his like lungs. He's like yelling at me. He's like going hard as fuck. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then my exit's the right exit, right? So I'm speeding. He's matching my speed, and then I dangerously get off into my exit. And I'm like, okay, that was fucking scary. And then there's a red light. And I'm scared this guy's gonna reverse and shit and like get off the exit. So I run the red light. I go right because I don't think you could have made a right turn in that state, like on red or in that particular section I was in. So because that red light takes forever, especially at night. Because I've driven that stretch of road for 15 weeks, almost every night. So I know that shit takes mad long. So I make a right. I get to my little gated community because my internship put me up in a private house with some other interns on a golf course. So we had a part of a house to ourselves. And I tell the guy at the gate, I'm like, yo, somebody is following me like off the exit back there. So if they don't live here, can you please not let them in? And the guy goes, oh shit. Like, yeah. I'm like, all right, thanks, bro. And I park my car I park it in like a hidden part of the lot, like away from my like apartment pretty much, and then I run to my house. Ever since then though, I was shitting my pants. I was like, I didn't know who to tell. I was telling my boys in the group chat at the time. I was like, yo, this crazy ass shit just happened to me. Like, what the fuck does that mean? I'm like, yo, he was yelling at me like full force, like his eyes were like coming out of his head, like no exaggeration. I don't know what he was trying to do to me. And at the time, I can tell. This is why I think it's a witchcraft thing. Because at the time, it was spring semester, it was my last semester of college. The semester before then, had a little fling. I'm not gonna call it a fling. It was a full-blown relationship. Like, we were together. She would always say some shit like, would we ever be like Romeo and Juliet, you think? And I was like, and I always say this, like, no, I love my life way too much to ever kill myself over a bitch. And in hindsight, that's pretty rude to say. But that's just how I felt. I was like, I would never kill myself over another person. Never. And I still feel that way, but I'm not gonna say bitch though. But she would say shit like, oh, can you get my name tattooed on you with blood? So I'm like, whose blood? Because not mine. First of all, my mom would never claim me if I got a tattoo. I'm working on it. I'm trying to get some art on me, but I still gotta like be wary of that. And B, blood? Are you fucking crazy? Are you dumb? Like, are you actually dumb? No, I'm not gonna do that. And she's like, no, not your blood, my blood. And I'm like, what? Your blood? Get out of here. I'm like, okay, listen, MGK people, I get it, right? cool. Wear some blood of your significant others on your neck. That's cool, right? It's in a vial. It's safe. But I'm not getting somebody's name tattooed with their own blood. I don't think I'd ever would like that. But you know, if I felt like Machine Gun Kelly and I'm in love with Megan Fox like that, then yeah, I would maybe. But at the time, I was like, hell no, hell no. She would say shit like, "Oh, you're never gonna forget me. I'm gonna make sure of it," or like, "Ooh, boy, you better watch out." Like, I'm like, watch out for what? For what? What are you threatening me with? Because you always say that shit, but you never follow up. What are you threatening me with? So that's why I think it was witchcraft in South Carolina. But man, I've been talking for a bit, huh? You know what's crazy? I didn't really have a script set up, but that's been Idle Talk this week. Remember, listen to the minis. Would appreciate it if you did. Follow us on TikTok at Idle Talk Pod and Instagram at Idle Talk Pod. On Twitter, Idle Talk Pod, but with a 0 instead of an O. Follow us on Reddit. You know, pull up to the Discord, okay? Please. That would be so cool if you did. And what else? Subscribe on YouTube. That would be sick. TikTok people, clips listeners, shout out to you. Much appreciated. Appreciate the love on TikTok. Hopefully you feel like you could transition over to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, I mean. Would really greatly appreciate it. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts. You can also rate 5 stars on Spotify. And I'll see you next week. Peace.